The scene begins in a forest, where a father and his son appear to be hunting. They see what appears to be a bear at first sight, but they quickly realize it's not. The ape-man creature chases them in the woods, and the son is forced to jump from a cliff to save his life. Meanwhile, in a different city, a father welcomes a tutor into his home. Ji-yu is introduced to the new tutor to help him with his English and help around the house, since it's only him and his dad since his mom passed away. Ji-yu does not hide his annoyance, claiming he doesn't need to study English. His father dismisses him after the new tutor assures him he just needs some time to get used to it. Ji-yu's dad explains to the tutor that because of his new job in Wanzhou, he needs them to travel a week earlier to get them settled for his son's school, and that he'll join them later. We then see a group of men walk into a workshop to deliver merchandise. They appear to be poachers who deliver endangered species to their regular collectors. They then inform him of a bigger catch they've heard of roaming in the mountains. The collector informs them that the animal has been a myth in China, and there's no way of capturing it. The poachers inform him that there has been proof by scientists of the creature, and they could get him for a higher price. They strike a deal to capture it alive. In the airport, a non-enthusiastic Ji-yu and his tutor, Denise, are getting ready to board the plane. They are joined by other passengers as they take off. Denise tries to warm up to the boy by asking questions about the necklace he wears around his neck. The passengers proceed to get acquainted with each other. An older passenger narrates to Ji-yu the ancient tale of an ape-man creature that watched over the forest. There's turbulence in the plane due to bad weather, and the plane comes crashing down. They are stranded and disoriented deep in the wilderness. Ji-yu and the older man seem to be hurt. One of the passengers places Ji-yu under a tree for fresh air as he tends to the older man. They soon realize the boy isn't under the tree where they left him. Denise wanders off into the forest to look for the boy. Meanwhile, Ji-yu's dad tells one of his workers that his son and the tutor were supposed to call him an hour ago when their plane was supposed to land. He is then pulled aside by one of his workers to be given the bad news. Joshua, one of the passengers, tries to keep up with Denise in finding the boy. Denise walks into a cave and runs into the boy, trembling in fear. He claims to have no knowledge of how he got into the cave. They try to make their way out of the cave, but they hear strange noises that hint that something is watching them. They come face to face with a bear that tries to attack them in that cave when suddenly another creature appears and saves them. The creature paces around them but doesn't hurt them at all. Joshua appears from behind and attacks the creature, scaring it away, but not before he gets thrown aside. Ji-yu realizes the creature, Yeren, is not really the enemy as he follows him into the woods to try and help him. When Denise and Joshua catch up to them, Yeren disappears deep in the woods. Two poachers arrive at a Chinese homestead looking for the two hunters who saw the Yeren in the forest. The young man is eager to speak to the two poachers, but his father is adamant that they leave. The young man, with no knowledge that the two men were poachers, secretly offers to help them navigate the forest the next day without his father's knowledge. Back in the forest, Denise tends to the boy's injuries, trying to keep him calm. They realize that Yeren actually used medicinal herbs to treat his wound. They have a debate as to whether the creature is actually an animal or a man. The old man, Mr. Feng, narrates that he is a feeble creature caught between man and ape. Yet others believe he is a highly intelligent creature and the protector of the forest. Joshua shows his disapproval and claims humans are the most intelligent creatures and not the apes in the forest. They search for food and shelter while they await rescue. They soon realize Joshua's partner had run away with the emergency kit and the food they had on the plane. Piao does not really get far as he is attacked by the Yeren a few meters from where the rest are. Mr. Feng and Ji-yu share a moment where Mr. Feng explains he was traveling to his home village to lay his late wife's ashes at their home. They bond over how they have both lost very important people in their lives. In the middle of the night, the boy wakes up and goes into the woods where he meets Yeren. He thanks Yeren for saving his life. Denise notices the boy is not asleep and follows him outside, only to find him with Yeren. An angry Joshua asks them why they keep going back to the monster. They both yell at him that Yeren wasn't hurting them at all. The next morning, the poachers meet up with the young man at the river, and their journey to the forest begins. Back at the plane, Joshua hears a plane flying above them. They try to shout for help, but it flies right above them. They agree to carry the injured Mr. Feng and walk through the forest looking for help. One of the poachers is washing his face in a river when his sunglasses fall. He tries to reach for them, but is attacked by an albino salamander from the water. They go on with their journey across the mountains. Denise, Joshua, and Ji-Yu decided to camp when Mr. Feng couldn't walk anymore. They set up a fireplace and look for something to eat. Joshua notices that the Yeren has been following their every move in the forest. Ji-Yu tells them that it has only been protecting them. Ji-Yu's father is at the police station, where the commander tells him that there is no news of any survivors in the forest. The angry father says he's going to look for them himself. He is in an argument with the commander when they're interrupted by an old man. The man claims his son has taken the poachers in the forest to look for the Yeren. The commander, being a local who knows the value of the Yeren, decides to go look for the poachers. Ji-Yu's father decides to follow Officer Chen into the forest. Meanwhile, in the forest, Mr. Feng and the boy are having a little chat when the boy hears growling from a distance. He assumes it's the Yeren and goes looking for it. Ji-Yu is attacked by a wild bear, but luckily the poachers come to his rescue. They explain to the poachers how their plane had an accident and have been wandering in the forest since. The poachers are displeased by this information since they do not need witnesses in their mission. They introduce themselves as scientists doing research in the forest. They later roast the bear they've just killed and narrate to each other how they found themselves in the forest. Denise is not convinced that they are researchers, so she probes them more on which institution they are conducting the research for. They bluntly answer that it's for a private institution. Ji-Yu almost tells the poachers about Yeren, but Denise stops him mid-sentence. Duke, the leader of the poachers, catches on that they're hiding something. Ji-Yu excuses himself to go take water to Mr. Feng, who was resting under a tree. Duke follows the boy and tries to get him to talk about Yeren. Meanwhile, Joshua and Denise are still enjoying their meal when the poachers speak in Chinese, claiming how that was going to be their last meal. Joshua, who secretly understands Chinese, shares this information with Denise. Duke takes Ji-Yu for a walk in the forest while probing about Yeren. He threatens the boy that they would not give Mr. Feng medication if he didn't tell the truth. This forces the boy to confess about having the Yeren as his friend who's been following them. They return to where Mr. Feng is and find him holding a gun. Mr. Feng tells Duke to let go of the boy, but suddenly falls down due to lack of strength. Denise and Joshua manage to put up a fight with the other poachers, but are overpowered since they have guns. The poachers tie them up on a tree, while Duke and the boy roam. The Ji-Yu yells for the Yeren to get away from the poachers. Yeren, peeking from the trees, can see Duke harassing the boy and growls out of anger. The Yeren defends himself from the poachers as it has knowledge of the forest. Duke reminds his team they need him alive so they can only tranquilize the creature. Duke finally manages to capture Yeren with a dose of tranquilizer. Mr. Feng finally succumbs to his failing lungs and passes on that night. Early the next morning, Ji-Yu holds a small farewell for Mr. Feng as the poachers urge them to hurry up and continue with the journey. They tie Yeren up and Joshua tries to strike a deal with the poachers. He tells them about a casino owner in Macau that would take Yeren for 20 million instead of the 2 million they were promised initially. They continue with their journey across the forest till they come to a stop. Duke argues they need to take a different route since they've been walking for a while now. The young man who helped the poachers navigate the forest was against the idea, but Duke was not taking suggestions. Denise and Ji-Yu try to get Yeren free by loosening some of the knots. The authorities arrive in the forest led by Officer Chen and the young man's father. They notice footprints belonging to a woman and a child, and also those belonging to a beast. They realize the poachers must have caught on to them. Ji-yu fakes an injury in order for them to slow down, but Duke draws out a gun and threatens him to get up. The authorities can see this moment through their binoculars, but need to wait for the right moment to act, since the poachers are armed and dangerous. Joshua notices Duke is uneasy and takes a moment to assure him that he can contact his man in Macau to finalize the deal. Duke hands him a telephone, and Joshua makes a call on the other end. He starts talking and making arrangements when Duke interrupts him and shows him that they disconnected the cable, so there is no way he could make a call. Ji-yu looks up at the hill and sees the authorities and his father in positions. Officer Chen draws out his gun and fires in the sky. He asks the poachers to drop their weapons. Chaos strikes as everyone tries to defend themselves. Yeren gets loose and also fights off the poachers and disappears into the woods. Ji-yu's father calls out for his son. Ji-yu, hearing this, follows the sound of his father through the woods. The authorities capture the poachers one by one. Duke gets a hold of Ji-yu, and his father tries to negotiate an exchange for him instead of the boy. Joshua sneaks behind him, hitting Duke with a log. They each fight to defend themselves till Ji-yu's father scares Duke with gunshots. Yeren finally finds Duke, and it's now survival for the fittest in the wilderness. Yeren, being bitter upon Duke, trying to capture him, does not back down. They race each other till they get to a cliff. Duke arrogantly tells Yeren that he could never be one of them. He tells Yeren that he could only be a beast no matter what. Yeren, upon hearing this, throws Duke from the cliff, leading to his demise. Yeren runs off to the woods as Ji-yu follows him behind. They share a moment of gratitude for each other as Yeren strokes Ji-yu's cheeks and walks away. We can then hear Yeren howling from a distance as the movie comes to an end.